Sri Lankan writer Shehan Karunatilaka, who's won the 2022 Booker Prize for his second novel, The Seven Moons of Mali Almeida, set during the Sri Lankan Civil War and narrated by a dead man.
The winner of the 2022 Booker Prize is The Seven Moons of Mali Almeida.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Neil McGregor. So, the winner of the £50,000 2022 Booker Prize for Fiction is Shehan Karunatilaka for The Seven Moons of Mali Almeida.
Many, many congratulations, Shehan. How has life changed after the Booker, if at all?
Well, I mean, it's only been just over 24 hours, but and I got some good sleep last night, which I didn't get on Booker night. But it's hard to know. I've been just doing interviews and photo shoots, and it's I'm waiting for it to sink in. I haven't yet called my mom or my kids, but I've called my agent many times, sadly. But I don't know. It's a surreal experience.
A surreal experience indeed. But, you know, we are also observing how angry Sri Lankans on Twitter seem to be congratulating you in one breath, and in the same breath also taking on their politicians and, talking about sort of events as they are now vis-a-vis what you've written about.
Yeah, so... No, I don't tweet much. You can see, I think I tweet once a year. So, but I look on Twitter and so on. Look, I think it's very glib to draw parallels between today and the horrors of 1989 or the terror of 1983. I think, Sri Lanka has had a lot of chaos, and it's been a terrible time, but it's nowhere near where that is. But it has been amusing that kind of politicians have congratulated me, but I don't tweet back. So no one, if someone congratulates me and I don't tweet back, it's it's the universal policy. But yeah, I've been letting the comment section do the work for me.
But
the comment section have been
rising
to the challenge.
Pardon me for interrupting, but do you actually see that there's a growing chasm now between the ruling elite and ordinary citizens? Could that perhaps be the subject of another book, your next book?
Yeah, next book is, let's not talk about next book. It needs to get written now, and I'm wondering if I'll get the time to do it. But yeah, hopefully I will. Look, the chasm between the ruling elite and the people, I mean, that's always been there. And I don't know, when elections roll close, things get forgotten. And I won't project what happened in the book to what's happening now. But it's interesting. It's interesting. I mean, I've been, what I said in Single also is like, I don't have the tools to solve Sri Lanka's many, many problems. I can just I also get power cuts, sit in the darkness and write books. That's really what I do. And, but...
It's important, of course, that you reference those power cuts, which has been such a big feature of, recent months and the kind of protests we've seen over them. But to get back to the book itself, why choose a dead man as a protagonist?
Well, I mean, I wanted to write a ghost story. So that was the first thing. I'd written, my first book was about cricket and drunks. And I got a bit tired about talking about cricket because I'm not an expert, and there are plenty of cricket experts out there. So I want to write a ghost story. And it just seemed like Sri Lanka has had many, many tragedies and massacres and so on. And I was thinking about 2009, the end of the war, and how many civilians were killed. And we were just arguing about whose fault it was. That was all but no one was really, there was very little truth or reconciliation. There was just blame giving. So I thought, why not give voice to, because while the living are arguing, why not give voice to the dead? They could probably set the record straight. So that was really the idea for this. But I wasn't really comfortable writing about the present situation, so I took it back to the 80s.
Yep.
Yeah, and I thought, sadly, there were plenty of corpses to choose from and plenty of ghosts to choose from. So yeah, I thought, at least let a few ghosts tell their story, and maybe through that tell a story of Sri Lanka that we don't hear much, or Sri Lankans prefer not to hear or to forget about.
How much of the book is actually sort of inspired by your personal memories of the time or your own experiences?
My personal memories were very little. I was insulated. I was a Colombo middle-class kid, and I saw the fear on my parents' faces, on the grown-ups. And, I was a teenager. I was trying to watch Top of the Pops, and I was not, I didn't know really, but I saw the fear. But of course, later, once I not just researching this, talking to my wife's family had a very different experience. They grew up in the plantations where the danger of the JVP and the counter attacks were very real, and grew up seeing bodies on the side of the road in tires and all that. So look, I also feel that guilt that Mali in the book feels, that there was a war being fought just a bus ride from where I was living, but we were in Colombo. We had a few bomb blasts and few assassinations, but we were insulated from it.
Right.
And so there's that aspect in the book as well. But yeah, I've obviously talked to people who were in the deep south or in the plantations who experienced that terror. And their stories were quite harrowing, and some of them made it into the book.
Right. Thanks very much for sharing that with us. One last question before we let you go. Your website describes you as a failed cricketer, failed rock star, and failed vegan. You're going to have to update that pretty quickly.
Well, I think that's all true, really. That's all true.
Well,
I used to bowl left-arm Chinaman, but too many full tossers. And I've got the hair of a rock star, but not the guitar playing ability. So, and vegan maybe. Let's see if I can work harder.
Right. So from cricket to ghosts to what next? One line.
Well, that would be telling. But the new book will be a lot lighter, I think, than this. This was a very heavy book to write, and took its toll a bit on my so it'll be a lighter book, but there'll be no cricket, no ghosts, no drunks. I can tell you that much.
All right.
It'll be about Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka has plenty of stories to tell, so it'll certainly be about Sri Lanka.
It's certainly going to be about Sri Lanka. Well, you've had a shortlisted book. You've had a Booker Prize winner. We can only wait with bated breath for what's next from Shehan Karunatilaka. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.